Welcome to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of August 14th, 2017. These are the free weekly readings from ediblespirit.com and Michael Domitrovich, that's me, bringing you readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether so that you can work with that balance of energy throughout the week. And the way it works is you watch this video, which is the ether video, and then you find your sun sign in the description below. It's associated with one of those classical elements of earth, air, water, and fire. Listen to the ether reading, listen to the element reading, and that's your elements of spirit for the week. Both of the readings will have an affirmation that comes with them at the end that you can sort of jot down on a piece of paper in your phone and use throughout the week to kind of supercharge or reconnect with whatever benefited you from the reading. And you can also use them as meditations or just as a kind of primer for the energies that are coming up. I love dialoguing about this. I love hearing your comments and seeing how the readings work for you during the week. Also, some stuff coming up. I put these out on Mondays. John Hill and I will be doing our Facebook Live show, Let's Get Mystical, later on Monday the 14th at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. On the East Coast. And that is a live broadcast call-in show which you can find at facebook.com/ediblespirit. And you can call in and ask your psychic queries, mystical questions, and John and I hold down the fort and do whatever we can. And then additionally, a week from now, on the 21st, I'm going to be doing a guided meditation to synchronize you guys with the energy that's coming in from the big solar eclipse on August 21st. And it's this workshop that I devised a while ago called Lightworker Synchronization, or You're Here, Now What? And it's this process of sort of making peace with who you are, where you are, what your gifts are, and how you're using them in the world. It's going to be about an hour-long event, probably 45 minute guided meditation, a little bit of intro, a little bit of breakdown, and that will also be up on Facebook Live. So if you miss it on the 21st live, you can tune in at any time and kind of benefit from the energies of that synchronization and the ritual that we devise. Okay, sorry for that, but I really am excited about this event. Without further ado, we turn to the element of ether. Okay, everyone, remember, it's summer. It's almost the end of summer. Okay, so there's a lot of shit going on right now. Least of all, Mercury retrograde. And along with everything else, along with American chaos, global chaos, political chaos, just chaos, which is being force-fed to you and to all of us kind of all the time, and in one way or another, we're complicit in it unless we're not. But what this is kind of giving us is complicit in the media of it all, in the consumption of it all, in the consumption of the spectacle, not in the hopefully not in the actual transgressions and violations of free will that are occurring left and right. Really not funny, but the energy that's coming in right now is this. It's summer nights. You can always drive with the top down in your heart. In all seriousness. Because the idea is that no matter what's going on, you have this place within you. But this is not about checking out. This is not about escapism. This is not about even really healing. This is about, like, if you're driving to your destination, and let's say that destination is to commit some heinously beautiful act of social change, and you are, I don't know if anybody watches The Real Housewives of New York, but like, one of my favorite characters, I can't believe it, she just pops in, so here we go. One of my favorite characters is Carol Radziwill, and she, since the election, has become like a crazy person, like a crazy cat lady, and also all she talks about is the horror of what's going on in the world. And it almost seems like she's having a conversation with herself sometimes on the show. Like nobody's even really talked. Like she's been lost to the paranoia and the political spectacle, and she's constantly engaged. So the idea is that when that happens, you're no good to anyone. When you become a mouthpiece of vociferousness and hatred, you're just as bad as the other mouthpieces or handpieces of vociferousness and hatred. Like same thing kind of happened. Same thing happens when when we're on the social spectrum, we're on social media, and we see something negative happens, and instead of responding with a response of light, with a finely calibrated healing message, peaceful message. I know that's not what people use the internet for, but it's what I try to use the internet for. But people will write in, and it's no longer just about the heinous act that someone committed. It's about how that heinous act makes that person heinous. Like, we get it, you guys. The people committing heinous acts seem to be heinous people, but like, let that be between them and their karma. If you start calling people heinous, then you are as bad as them. It's really true, because it doesn't matter what the content is about. If it's separative, if it's subjugating, if it takes free will away from people, if it disempowers people, it's not love. It's not good. It's not helpful. Without exception, even if the person that you're vilifying is 100 times more evil than you are, or 1,000,000 times more evil than anything that was ever evil. The words that come out of your mouth, the vibrations that come out of your heart towards that person will boomerang around back to you. The easiest exercise is to look for compassion in the faces of people that seem to be evil. And you can probably imagine like how bloated they feel all the time, and how terrible their bowel movements must be, just like how excruciating and painful and disgusting and stinky. And that gives me like a heart, like, ugh. You poor thing, you must dread going to that room every time you have to go there. Point is, especially if you are an activist, especially if you are passionate about something and want to fight for it or go to war for it, do you want to come in hot in an armored car with artillery? I know this is fucked up. This is what's going on in the world right now. Or do you want to cruise up in like a sparkling violet convertible, freshly driven down the Pacific Coast Highway, or, the Appalachian Trail, or, not I-95. That's not that exciting, but whatever, that like coastal road in Maine, and you show up, you have a much greater chance of turning swords into plowshares, because you're like, hey, if we kill each other all, then we'll all be dead. If we turn these swords into plowshares, then we can like chill and eat, and that'd be great. And in a way, rather than making it so noble that we are willing to like fight and die, for the cause, right? Wouldn't it be nobler to not fight and be willing to die for the cause? To me, those are the most gracious acts of heroism. The pictures from the 60s of like the flower and the gun. That person had to walk. I think it was a stage photo, but point is, it's a strong icon, because you can imagine that person, giant cannon, and then this other person very delicately placing one flower inside of there. And I would argue that this act doesn't take that much bravery. It takes bravery, to be willing to die with a big fucking gun in your arms. But this act takes a lot more bravery. And the idea is that if you forget that it's summertime right now, or if you're somewhere on the other side of the world and it's wintertime right now, then it's like the peak of winter. It's quiet. Spring is about to come. But here in the peak of summer, it's about to end. The fall's about to come. The eclipse is getting ready to swell. All of this big stuff is happening. But it's still the peak of summer. The dog days of summer start, now, the 15th. I think that's when it is, right? And that expression of the end of Leo before moving into this much more diligent and responsible, sort of service-oriented slash um, uh, it's a much more contained energy than the Leo energy, which is this like big roaring shining sun. And to me, the Virgo energy is much more that sort of like quiet peace of a field of wheat, where the sun may be shining, but it's not actually about that. We can feel that little slip of fall, maybe even coming in a morning. But the point is we're not there yet. We're not in the slip of fall. We're in the final throes of Leo expression. So the idea here is like whatever you are vibing with right now is most likely going to be amped up times a million come the August 21st eclipse. And that means that all of this chaos and hatred and nastiness in the world is also going to metastasize, really, is the word for it. Exponential growth of whatever is times a million. And that could be very explosive, very unstable, very dangerously expansive. Whether we all die or not, I can't say, but it feels like standoff is already in the air. And the stakes are this high. It's like, change or die? Really? Once again? Again. Okay. But the point is that if you're already in the mode of how do I fight? What do I do? How do I defend my territory, right? The intensity of the Leonine. How do I defend? How do I roar to stake my claim? And roar to express who I am, not even to stake my claim, but roar to express who I am in this world and in society and relative to all of the shit that's going on. If you roar like you just came out of an armored car with full artillery in the back, that's a roar, but I'm here, that's a roar. And the idea is that one is like getting out of the beautiful road trip in a convertible, maybe a little chapped, maybe a little tan, but ultimately like happy to have arrived and happy to be here, versus not having any awareness of your destination and just roaring because you're pissed off, roaring because it's hard, roaring because it hurts, roaring because it's been a rough life, because shit's happened. We all have that roar inside of ourselves. We all have that roar of fucking shit happens to me every time. But that's the kind of roar that makes you end up in the back of an armored car, or in the back of something causing other people problems. The roar that says, I'm here because I care about all of us, and I'm willing to give my heart for that care. That's what's in the air. But if we forget that it's the summertime, you might end up feeling and acting like you're shoved in the back of a car waiting to kill someone, as opposed to freshly arrived and ready to fight with peace and love and clarity. No bullshit, right? A really beautiful person recently told me, or re-quoted an Ani DeFranco quote to me. I'll probably botch it now, but like, a tool is the same as a weapon, depends on how you hold it. It's been a minute since I was an Ani DeFranco fan, but I was. And still know a lot of the lyrics. But the idea is that like, we all have the same passions inside of us. Passion is the same inside of everyone. It's that fire, it's that flow, it's that charge. And it's also like the engine of the car on the road trip. Where is your destination? And what is the journey? Ooh, yes. Okay, great. That was the last part that I didn't get. Okay. I am freshly arrived. I am here now. I offer my heart to the greater good. Life is a journey of learning. I travel in peace. Wow. I did not expect that that was where it was going to go today. It started with this really chill road trip vibes and ends with I travel in peace. I am freshly arrived. I am here now. I offer my heart to the greater good. Life is a journey of learning. I travel in peace. It's weird because I feel like that affirmation, it almost feels like strange to pick it up. What I was going to say is it almost feels like it's not mine, and yet now that I've picked it up and now that I've held it, I see how it's not anyone's, but it's all of ours. That commitment to travel in peace. It's something that all of us have an option to do. Um, I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Check out the rest of the readings. Bye.